5 E's, okay? So the first of the 5 E's is a wonderful thing called energy. And please, if you can put that down, a little heading in your notes, energy. The number one thing people buy from you is your energy, okay? So people buy my energy. So if we don't have the right level of energy, I can pretty much guarantee it becomes quite a so what in the process. So people want my energy. So therefore, one of the things that I'm asking a lot of sales managers and leaders to do now is on a Monday morning to do an energy check with the team. How's my energy looking? I'm about to walk into a listing point. I'm about to do an hour of power on the phones. What's my energy like? And one of the exercises I'd love you to do, guys, is record yourself doing an hour of power on the phones. And, you'll be a bit conscious for the first couple of calls, but then you'll just get into it and notice how you actually sound. Are you delivering with a level of energy? Now, the next ingredient is empathy. Empathy is the ability to step out of your shoes and into someone else's shoes. This is one of the power capabilities of great connected agents, and that is being able to see it from the other person's point of view. It's easy to see it from our own point of view. And what's interesting, guys, I thought I was really good at this empathy piece. This is a number of years ago, and I would basically say, look, if I was in Kate's shoes, this is how I would see it. Now, I'll say that again. If I was sitting in Kate's shoes, this is how I would see it. That's not empathy, right? Let me step into Kate's shoes. How does Kate see it? That's different. So we now actually have this view where we're stepping into someone else's shoes and getting perspective on it. How important is this when we're working with a buyer? How important is this when we're working with an owner? Being able for them to be able to recognize, hey, I actually tuned in. I was curious. I leaned into this and started to really gain some fantastic information in the process. Okay, so we got our energy. Then we brought empathy into play. The next key ingredient we want to put into the mix is this wonderful thing called expertise. So I believe when you brought energy in, you brought empathy in, tuned into where the client's at, what is the client looking for, what's their part of the journey, and how can you support them along those lines. Then you have the right and the obligation to share some expertise. Now, this isn't a data dump necessarily, guys, but it's actually sharing some expertise with them that goes, I'm seriously impressed with what this person has shared with me or knows or knowledge about the marketplace. So building your expertise not only builds your confidence, but it actually builds confidence in the client knowing that you know your stuff. And then from here, we want to bring our enthusiasm in. Now, occasionally people say, but Michael, isn't energy and enthusiasm the same thing? Well, yes, but no. So let me give you an example. You can have great energy at a listing appointment, but not be enthusiastic about the sale of this property. Can you be enthusiastic about a fixer-upper? The answer is absolutely yes. So how do you lean into that and show me as a client that I'm enthusiastic about taking your property to market? I've got this level of enthusiasm to be able to support you, to help you achieve your goals in the time frame you want. I'm absolutely focused on getting you the highest price the market's willing to pay. As soon as you give me the green light to go, I'm going for the maximum price I can achieve for you out there in the marketplace. Or a buyer's coming in, and here's an example of enthusiasm. Guys, I'm going to give you, guys, as in men, I'm going to give you a slightly hard time here. Men tend to grunt and they think they're being enthusiastic. So an example of this, a buyer calls in, oh, hello, I'm interested in property XYZ. That's a grunt, just in case you're wondering. And they said, well, I gave them positive feedback. Right? Females naturally are better at enthusiasm. Now, does that mean that men can't? No. Does that mean that women are always great? No. But you actually probably need to work, some of the guys here, you need to work harder at being great at this. So buyer calls in, hello, I'm looking at property XYZ, or I'm interested in property XYZ. Hey, thanks so much for calling. Look, it is a great property. We've had some fantastic interest in it. By the way, could I ask you a couple of questions just to make sure it's going to really suit your needs? And let's see if we can sneak you through on a private inspection and/or work out whether the open home times work versus yes, that property is available at the moment. It is open at 10:45 on Saturday. It'll be great to see you at the open. Goodbye. Like, where's the enthusiasm? So all of a sudden, you can create scarcity and urgency and start to shift a buyer's thinking just by the quality of the conversation. What magical things you're putting into that particular conversation that make a difference. Okay, so we've got our energy, we've got our empathy, we've got our expertise, and now we've got enthusiasm kicking in. The final ingredient to wrap out these 5 E's is effort. Now, do people know you're putting effort in? The answer is absolutely yes. They absolutely know you're putting effort in. So this is what is it that we're doing that's showing someone that we're working. Now, for those of you that are in a listing role, one of my favorite pieces of dialogue is there is no agent that you're going to experience who's going to work as hard and put as much effort in as me in getting the result for you. And by the way, I want to apologize if you're feeling I'm being slightly on the forceful side around securing this business and signing you up and working with you. But as soon as you give me the green light, I'm going to put this and so much more pressure on the buyers to be able to achieve that premium price for you. When I'm working with a qualified buyer who's got the capacity to perform for you, bang, give me the green light. I'm ready to go. So it's a different kind of energy that you bring into play with that. So you get these cranked in, guarantee it achieves a brilliant outcome. Out of these 5 E's, which are the ones that need attention, or are you the legend I have been looking for all of my life? You're already there. Now, what I would recommend you do is go and grab one of your senior agents and say, hey, could you just share with me what is the best way to build expertise? By the way, if you go to the council website, there's expertise on there. There's things about the area. If you go to the local library and speak with a librarian, guarantee they've got the history of the area. Let me give you a simple example of this. We used to live in Erskineville many years ago, and there was a street in Erskineville called Pleasant Avenue. Now, if you were selling in Erskineville, it would be important to know why Pleasant Avenue is the widest street in Erskineville. A lot of one-ways in Erskineville. It's the widest street in Erskineville, and it's tree line. It'd be incredibly important that you have the ability to know exactly what that is. And interestingly enough, it used to be the driveway up to the Pleasant family's estate. So if you were selling in that area and say, it's interesting, the reason why this is da-la-la-la, have you lived in Erskineville before? Oh, no, not really. Well, look, one of the things that is the case, this used to be da-la-la-la. You're just in a different league. And by the way, how much information you shared? One piece. You shared one piece of expertise, but all of a sudden I get this point, how valuable you are and what you actually know in the mix and in the ingredient with this. Now, guys, there is a very, very simple action plan that I'd love you guys to embrace and put into play with this. And the action plan is start doing, stop doing, and continue doing. So what am I committing to start doing? What am I committing to stop doing? And what have I had confirmed today in this session that I'm totally on the right track that I need to continue doing? A lot of people think change is all about starting something, but in actual fact, some of the biggest changes might be stopping. I've got to stop doing this to be able to build some momentum. Start doing, stop doing, and continue doing. An easy one, how do I improve my empathy? The first thing was awareness. I became aware like, oh, so I'm not being empathetic when I say step aside or lose a limb. If I was standing here, this is how I would see it. No. It's actually stepping in and saying, how do you see it? Now, with this, there's a fantastic listening technique, and that is listen to understand versus listen to respond. Now, most people listen to respond, okay? So in other words, like, yeah, and we're wanting to throw our bit in. But if we shift it from listening to respond to listening to understand, I truly want to understand where you're coming from. I truly want to internalize and bring on board where you are. So for me, the biggie was I shifted from listening to respond to listening to understand. And that could be, so let me just make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So you're feeding back what you're hearing. Now, it might seem slower, but as a rapport builder, listening is the power rapport builder. In fact, I've said for many years, the key to listening is listening. So it's this beautiful empathy piece. Oh, why did you list with them? I just felt more connected with them. I felt they could really relate to me. They really understood my needs. So it has this ability to add significant value in the process.